Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next hour. Prime Minister Modi hails India's Reform Express, says mega trade deals with EU and the US a source of stability and growth for global economy. India's Ministry of External Affairs says ensuring energy security is a priority of the government, open to exploring crude oil supplies from Venezuela. As US-Russia nuclear treaty expires, US-Russia agreed to restart military-to-military talks. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer apologizes to victims of Jeffrey Epstein for believing Ambassador Mandelson lies and appointing him as envoy to the United States.
I am sorry. Sorry for what was done to you. Sorry that so many people with power failed you. Sorry for having believed Mandelson's lies and appointed him.
And Prime Minister Modi's unique interactive program with students, Pariksha Pe Charcha, on February 6th to discuss exam stress and celebrate examinations as a festival. Top story, Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed confidence that India is fully geared to compete at the global stage and is marching towards becoming the third largest economy with confidence and decisive policy reforms. PM was replying to a discussion on the motion of thanks to the President's address in the upper house of Parliament.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday said that India has emerged as a trusted partner for many countries and the world is rapidly progressing towards a new global order. Replying to the debate in the upper house of Parliament, that is the Rajya Sabha, on the motion of thanks on the President's address, PM Modi said that big countries are very eager to have trade relations with India.
बड़े-बड़े देश भारत के साथ व्यापारिक संबंध बनाने के लिए बहुत ही आतुर है। यूरोपीय संघ का ट्रेड डील हो, अमेरिका के साथ अभी हुआ जो ट्रेड डील हो, और कल हमारे पीयूष जी ने सदन में विस्तृत जानकारी भी दी है और पूरा विश्व खुल करके इस ट्रेड डील का तारीफ कर रहा है। और उसमें जब यूरोपियन यूनियन के साथ ट्रेड डील हुआ तो विश्व को भरोसा हुआ कि अब वैश्विक स्तर पर स्थिरता की संभावना बढ़ेगी। अमेरिका के साथ ट्रेड डील होने के बाद विश्व को और भरोसा हो गया कि जो स्थिरता के एहसास हो रहा था, अब गति का भी एहसास होने लगा है। अब विश्व के लिए शुभ संकेत।
Emphasizing that India's trade agreements will enhance stability in the world, Prime Minister Modi said that India is entering into future-ready trade agreements with several countries.
अनेक देशों के साथ आज भारत फ्यूचर रेडी ट्रेड डील्स कर रहा है। पिछले कुछ ही समय में दुनिया के महत्वपूर्ण 9 बड़े देशों के साथ 9 बड़े हमारे ट्रेड डील हुए और उसमें मदर ऑफ ऑल डील एक साथ 27 देशों के साथ, यूरोपियन यूनियन के साथ।
There are the key takeaways from Prime Minister Modi's speech, which also includes PM said the second quarter of century will be decisive in making India a developed nation. PM also said that India emerges as leading voice of Global South. He said that India is moving towards world's third largest economy. PM said that India's growth is very high among major economies. PM Modi also said that India is a ray of hope for the world. He also said that the world praises India's trade deals, sees stability and speed. PM said that the new world order is inclined towards India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also reflected on India's economic trajectory and the remarkable speed at which it is rising.
आज मेजर इकोनॉमी में भारत का ग्रोथ बहुत हाई है और हाई ग्रोथ और लो इन्फ्लेशन ये बहुत ही यूनिक संयोग है और ये हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था की मजबूती को प्रदर्शित करता है.
In his nearly 100-minute speech, PM Modi countered the opposition party's criticism about his government's track record of implementing schemes and talking about Viksit Bharat. Dheeraj Das for DD India.
India is strengthening its energy security strategy with bold steps towards diversification, renewable energy and self-reliance. Recent government statements and the union budget highlight commitment to ensure affordable, sustainable energy for 140 crore Indians. DD India's Rahul Upadhyay has more.
With a strong push towards renewable energy and diversification of supply sources, government is ensuring that energy becomes a driver of inclusive growth rather than a constraint. India's Ministry of External Affairs on Thursday made it clear ensuring energy security is supreme priority of government, adding that India remains open to exploring crude oil supplies from Venezuela and other sources.
The government has stated publicly on several occasions, including me here, that ensuring the energy security of 1.4 billion Indians is the supreme priority of the government. Diversifying our energy sourcing in keeping with objective market conditions and evolving international dynamics is at the core of our strategy to ensure this. All of India's decisions are taken and will be taken with this in mind. Consistent with our approach to energy security, India remains open to exploring the commercial merits of any crude supply options, including from Venezuela.
Earlier on Wednesday, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal echoed similar sentiments while stressing that diversifying energy sources is central to India's strategy as the country moves towards becoming a developed nation.
मैं स्पष्ट करना चाहता हूं, जैसा कि सरकार ने कई बार सार्वजनिक रूप से कहा है कि 140 करोड़ भारतीयों की ऊर्जा आवश्यकताओं की सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित करना सरकार की सर्वोत्तम प्राथमिकता है.
In Budget 2026-27, India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman unveiled rupees 20,000 crore towards carbon capture utilization and storage, a nascent, esoteric stream of research globally but mooted as necessary to countries' quest for a zero-carbon future. India, by reducing its import dependence, improving grid reliability, and promoting efficiency and clean technologies, energy is becoming a driver of inclusive growth rather than a constraint. The coming decade will determine how effectively India converts this momentum into long-term security, affordability, and sustainability. Rahul Upadhyay's report for DD India.
India and the Gulf Cooperation Council on Thursday signed the terms of reference for a free trade agreement in New Delhi. The deal is expected to strengthen energy, security, trade ties and economic cooperation with key Gulf nations.
Following the deal with the European Union and the United States, India and the Gulf Cooperation Council member countries on Thursday signed the terms of reference for a free trade agreement. India has also signed the necessary framework to formally launch negotiations with the GCC member countries, which include Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, and Bahrain. Presiding over the ceremony, India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal said the agreement will help diversify India's energy and food security.
The agreement with the GCC group of 6 countries will further strengthen our relations both on a geopolitical and trading elements, will help draw greater amounts of investments, create job opportunities for Indians both in the GCC nations and in India, encourage the food security and energy security of both the GCC nations and India, and give a message to the world of our deep ties and historic relations.
India has already signed a free trade agreement with the UAE in 2022. It also signed a comprehensive economic cooperation agreement with Oman in December 2025. Earlier, between 2006 and 2008, India and the GCC held 2 rounds of discussions, but a third round could not begin as the GCC chose not to move forward with trade agreements at that time. The GCC's chief negotiator has now expressed happiness about advancing the proposed FTA with India.
I'm glad to be here today to sign the term of reference to start the free trade agreement between the GCC and India. You know that GCC and India used to trade before thousands of years freely, so that's what we would like now to enable us to do it, hopefully.
India imports crude oil and natural gas from the Gulf nations while exporting gems and jewelry, electrical machinery, iron and steel, and chemicals to these countries. In the financial year 2024-25, India's exports to GCC countries rose by 1% to $57 billion, while imports increased by about 15% to $121 billion. The Gulf region is also significant for India because of its large Indian diaspora. Nearly 10 million Indians live in these countries and send substantial remittances back home. Bureau Report, DD India.
India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal said in a joint statement on India-US agreement will be issued in the next 4 to 5 days. Piyush Goyal also said a formal agreement will be signed around mid-March this year.
बहुत ही सार्थक चर्चा चल रही है भारत और यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका के बीच, जो हमारे दोनों नेताओं ने निर्णय लिया है. हमारा पहला ट्रांच बायलैटरल ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट का लगभग तैयार हो गया है. हमारी उम्मीद है कि अगले 4-5 दिन में हम एक जॉइंट स्टेटमेंट यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका और भारत के बीच में फाइनलाइज करके साइन कर देंगे और उस जॉइंट स्टेटमेंट के आधार पर शुरुआत हो जाएगी हमारे दोनों के बीच में इस समझौते की पहली कड़ी. साथ ही साथ एक फॉर्मल एग्रीमेंट ड्राफ्ट हो रहा है जिसको शायद महीना भर 1.5 महीना लग सकता है और उस फॉर्मल एग्रीमेंट को मिड मार्च तक साइन करने का अंदाजा है. लेकिन 18% जो यूएस टैरिफ्स घटने हैं वो जॉइंट स्टेटमेंट अनाउंस होने के बाद एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑर्डर द्वारा यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका कर देगा.
India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has said India-US trade deal, which is in the final stages of detailing, opens up a new phase in bilateral ties with the United States. Following conclusion of his visit to the US, Minister Jaishankar writes on X, and I quote, concluded a productive and positive visit to the US. Thanks Secretary Rubio for his warm hospitality. The historic India-US trade deal is in the final stages of detailing that will be completed very soon. It opens up a new phase in our bilateral ties with vast possibilities for that relationship. Our critical mineral cooperation is also advancing rapidly. Expect engagement on strategic issues, defense, energy in the coming days. Overall, a strong momentum is evident, unquote. Still to come on DD India News Hour. We'll talk about Prime Minister Modi's address in the Parliament on India's economic prowess and recent mega trade deals.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy, always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. We now return to our top story of Prime Minister's address in the Parliament. We talked about India's economy and the big trade deals. Joining me is Ambassador Manjeev Singh Puri, former senior diplomat. Ambassador Puri, good evening and welcome to DD India. While the spotlight has been on India's big-ticket trade agreements in the past couple of weeks, how do you see the manner in which Prime Minister Modi articulates why the world looks at India as a trusted partner?
Thank you very much. I think it's an absolute correctness of things that, these trade deals, what do? They actually highlight to the world, and by the world I mean right across the spectrum, from developing countries to the developed countries, that India is not only a country which is a country of significance, but this fact is now recognized by the world. After all, the reason for doing the trade deals, we may have our own, but they also see benefits. None of them would have wanted to enter into deals of this kind if they didn't see a benefit. This is a clear signal that India as an economy is not just a significant economy, but it's an economy which is a signal economy in terms of countries with whom they should all align, i.e. for us, it's multi-alignment, but it's also multi-alignment for them. And it signifies India's, let me say, reaching a certain position which makes it a country of importance for others, including big players, to recognize. Very important and really very good for India.
Right, Ambassador. I'll return to the key points of Prime Minister's address. But before that, Minister Jaishankar just concluded his visit to the United States. He speaks about advancement of US trade deal, also critical mineral cooperation and engagement in diverse domains. Do you think India-US close ties are sort of back on track?
Look, let me say, you are dealing in the United States with a president who is a one-man machine. So, for us to be able to say all of this with such degree of certainty, yes, I can also say it in the same manner. But the fact is that this was a major irritant, without any doubt, because economics underpins even this wonderful bilateral relationship, which we have now built with the United States, what should I say, over a period of about 20 years. So whether it's the Quad, defense cooperation, work on energy, work on AI and people and so on and so forth. This was a jarring irritant which stared everyone. The fact that our companies were faced with punitive tariffs, all of that truly hurt and hurt in various ways. So I think it's a very important deal. But I want to say something to you about these trade deals, particularly the one with the United States and the one with the European Union. Look, they signal that India is lowering its generally felt situation of being a very protectionist country. And when you lower protectionist barriers, you actually encourage investment, because people don't realize that, these are trade deals. In the case of the Americas, it's of course a simple matter of lowering tariffs. So your exports which had found themselves hurdled, that hurdle will go, they'll go back to their usual thing. But in terms of increasing trade, that's a very difficult cup of tea. It requires your industry to be up to scratch. It requires that you meet global standards, not only that you meet the costs and so on and so forth. But for us, I see in this great benefits, because the Indian economy, as it progresses towards Viksit Bharat 2047, needs lots of investments, technology, finance, everything. And these things actually don't come if you have a protected market and people see protectionism, because they are unable to build their supply chain. And this is something which is absolutely salutary. I'm really very happy to see both these trade deals, and also the one that we are starting with the Gulf and the British trade deal. All of these signal the world recognizes that India is there, and India has signaled to the world, we are ready. And we are very much interested in opening ourselves up. Happy that you are opening yourself up. We are opening ourselves up. So we cooperate and then take ourselves forward. I'll leave one little point to you. For a long time, people have spoken in terms of India being the China plus one story. These are the things which will open you up for all of that.
Right, and it has significant implications for the global economy as well. Ambassador, Prime Minister does say that the big trade deals are going to be a source of stability as well as speed and growth for an increasingly fractured and volatile world.
Well, absolutely, no doubt. Look, the Indian economy as the fourth largest economy, even though we are only 4 trillion out of a global economy of some $110 trillion, we are in a significant player. And we are a significant player for both imports as well as exports. And so therefore, when we enter into these relationships, which signal the growth of the Indian economy, it signals stability for the world. Let's also not forget the fact that we are a democracy. We are a country that prefers and really works in terms of a rules-based order, with the WTO now being in the state of play in which the United States has brought itself. It was important that we enter into each of these bilateral FTAs, etc., which are very important. Look, this is a clear recognition of India being a country of significance and a country which is recognized by the major stakeholders in the world's economy, and I dare say geopolitics, that India is an important country and they should build relations with India. That's important for them, not just important for us. From my perspective, of course, it's great for us.
Right, and finally, India's demographic advantage when Prime Minister sort of juxtaposes the aging population of the developed world with India's younger, skilled population is great opportunity for Indian youth, both at home and abroad.
No, absolutely. Look, what are our two great facets? It's globalization and demography, right? That's why we are a country or an economy of great significance to everyone. So it's absolutely right that the Honorable Prime Minister should mention demography. And, you know, while in India, there's this great feeling, oh my God, so many billion people. No. For the world, this is your greatest asset, your market. But as I said, investments don't flow only because you think you have a large market. You are not really a very rich market which caters to what comes from those places. But when you open these supply routes, then you become a country which is of great interest to invest. Invest not only for your growing market, but also for being able to do things, build in the investment processes, bring in the supply routes so that you bring in something, produce it halfway house, draw again and again. So lots of things happen. Look, let's clap, and I'm very glad that this was mentioned. Globalization, without doubt, great benefit to us. And demography, I'm happy that we are applauding it.
On that note, thank you very much, Ambassador Manjeev Puri. Always a pleasure talking to you. Moving on, India is set to host the India AI Impact Summit 2026 in New Delhi on 19th and 20th February, marking the first global artificial intelligence summit to be held in the Global South. The summit 2026 will focus on principles of people, planet and progress and aim to shape a future where AI advances humanity, supports inclusive growth and protects the shared planet. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, who will attend the summit, has praised India's leadership, calling it artificial intelligence a crucial issue in international relations and one of the defining challenges of the present times.
I do believe that AI is today an absolutely crucial issue in international relations and one of the biggest challenges of our times. So it is very important that countries come together, discuss it also with the civil society in all kinds of circumstances. And I praise India for having assumed the leadership in relation to this summit.
India's first AI-enabled integrated command and control center has gone live in Tirumala. Powered by the Govinda AI platform, the system uses thousands of smart cameras to manage crowds, security, darshan queues, cutting waiting time, and transforming the pilgrimage experience for millions of devotees across the sacred hill shrine.
At Tirumala, one of the world's most visited pilgrimage centers, Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanams has launched India's first AI-enabled integrated command and control center, a groundbreaking initiative brought to life under the extraordinary vision and leadership of Forces Inc. founder Prasar Bharati.
This is completely helps the temple governance standpoint and helps the operationally day-to-day effectiveness, including darshan management, security management, and laddu distribution process.
It has a variety of features which will help the administration in streamlining the entire pilgrim experience and removing the hurdles of the pilgrims in having the smooth darshan.
The system is a one-stop nerve center for managing darshan queues, crowd flow, traffic, lost luggage and missing persons. For devotees, the difference is visible. During Vaikunta Ekadashi, waiting times for darshan fell from nearly 26 hours to just 12 to 13 hours, with many completing darshan in under 2 hours. Real-time monitoring and AI management have made queues predictable, reduced confusion and improved comfort for millions of pilgrims visiting Tirumala every year.
It was maintained very well, and today we did the darshan. It was also very good.
With 30 workstations in the command center, it enables coordinated real-time decision-making.
As exam season draws closer, the country's most awaited student-centric dialogue is back. Pariksha Pe Charcha 2026, now in its 9th edition, is lined up for the 6th February, bringing reassurance, clarity and confidence to millions of students across the nation. Here's how.
For millions of students, examinations often mean anxiety, self-doubt, and sleepless nights. Pariksha Pe Charcha addresses this reality head-on, reminding students that stress is natural, but fear is optional. What makes Pariksha Pe Charcha 2026 truly unique is its new format. This year, the Prime Minister invited students to his official residence, offering a warm and informal setting of an open exchange on exams and life lessons. Prime Minister Narendra Modi focuses on practical wisdom, how to manage time, overcome fear of failure, stay focused, and believe in oneself. His message is simple: exam test preparation, not personality. Pariksha Pe Charcha 2026 reaches beyond the capital. Interactions were held in Coimbatore, Raipur, Devmogra in Gujarat, and Guwahati, ensuring that guidance reaches students from every corner of the country.
Examinations are just around the bend, and the Pariksha Pe Charcha then cannot be behind that. This year, we are having the 9th edition of Pariksha Pe Charcha. And something unique has happened this time is that more than 4.5 crore students, children and parents have registered themselves on the MyGov platform, because they're all waiting to hear as to what the Honorable Prime Minister has to tell them. This is a unique intervention conceived and conceptualized by the Honorable Prime Minister.
With over 45 million registrations, this year's response reflects deep faith in the program. Students are not just watching, they are actively seeking direction, motivation, and emotional support. The 9th edition of Pariksha Pe Charcha 2026 will telecast on 6th February 10 a.m. Pariksha Pe Charcha is more than a broadcast. It's a national conversation that replaces anxiety with assurance and pressure with purpose. Pariksha Pe Charcha 2026 stands as a reminder that success is not built on fear but on balance, discipline, and self-belief. It tells every student you are more than your marks and you are never alone in this journey. Kriti Vadera's report for DD India.
In other news, India has stepped up its post-disaster assistance to Sri Lanka with delivery of 10 additional Bailey bridges under its $450 million assistance package for reconstruction following Cyclone Ditwa. The bridge material reached Colombo aboard Indian Navy ship INS Gharial on the occasion of Sri Lanka's Independence Day on Wednesday. The bridges were officially handed over to Sri Lanka's Deputy Minister for Ports and Aviation, Janith Ruwan Kodivaku, on the Colombo port on Thursday. The bridges will be deployed at places where road connectivity has been cut off after Cyclone Ditwa destroyed several bridges in the island nation.
We are very thankful to India because since the day this Ditwa happened, they opened their warm heart to us, and we really appreciate their help. We are very good friend of India, and we would like to extend our thanks to Indian government and the Indian people on behalf of Sri Lankan government and the Sri Lankan people.
And DD India correspondent Ahmed Moin Faruqi gets us more from Colombo.
India continues to assist Sri Lanka in rebuilding critical infrastructure through its $450 million assistance package. Under this initiative, India has already helped restore connectivity at 3 key locations where bridges were destroyed by floods triggered by Cyclone Ditwa. On Sri Lanka's National Day, INS Gharial has arrived at the Colombo port carrying 10 more Bailey bridges which were officially handed over to Sri Lanka today. India's assistance stands as a reminder that in times of crisis, regional cooperation becomes the strongest bridge of all. Ahmed Moin Faruqi, DD India, Colombo.
Still to come on DD India News Hour. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk visits Kiev, pays tributes to fallen Ukrainian soldiers. French Foreign Minister visits Iraq, hails Iraq's role in fight against the IS.
Food systems contribute to a third of global planet warming emission. In today's episode, let's take a look at what happens when food systems stop working for everyone.
After Hatibondo arrived, we discussed as a village the challenge that we were facing. And we came to the conclusion that we should sow some crops, especially for the elephants.
The Meramo Cafe is basically promoting this circular economy. So there's not much transportation involved in that process. So this is one way that we are reducing the carbon emission from that point of view.
Is probably laughing because despite the fact that they're cleaning up other people's problems for free, it seems like nobody here actually wants them to be doing it.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Our top stories at this hour. Prime Minister Modi hails India's Reform Express, says the mega trade deals with EU and the US a source of stability and growth for global economy. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer apologizes to victims of Jeffrey Epstein for believing Ambassador Mandelson's lies in appointing him as envoy to the US. As US-Russia nuclear treaty expires, the two countries agree to restart military-to-military talks. The Pentagon has confirmed that US and Russia have agreed to reestablish high-level military dialogue. The move comes on a day when the last Russia-US nuclear arms control treaty comes to an end.
The United States and Russia have agreed to re-establish high-level military-to-military dialogue just hours after the expiry of the last treaty limiting their nuclear arsenals. The US Military European Command said maintaining dialogue between armed forces is crucial for global stability, transparency and de-escalation, especially at a time of heightened strategic tensions. February 5 marks an important date in US-Russia relations as the last remaining nuclear weapon control treaty between the two nations expired. The expiry of treaty raised fresh fears of a renewed global arms race. UN Secretary General warned that expiry marks a grave moment for global peace and urged the US and Russia to urgently negotiate a successor framework. The UN chief said that this dissolution of decades of achievement could not come at a worse time, emphasizing that the risk of a nuclear weapon being used is the highest in decades. China's foreign ministry also voiced concern over the treaty's end, but ruled out joining nuclear disarmament talks at this stage.
我要指出的是，中方对
The international community is widely concerned that its expiration will have a negative impact on the international arms control system and the global nuclear order. China's nuclear capabilities are of a total different scale as those of the United States and Russia.
However, Moscow assured that it would continue to act responsibly on strategic nuclear stability. Now let's take a look at the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. The first Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, or START, was signed in 1991 by the US and then Soviet Union, limiting each side to no more than 6,000 nuclear warheads. It was followed by the new START Treaty, signed in 2010 in Prague by Washington and Moscow. The agreement capped deployed strategic nuclear warheads at 1,550 each, limited launchers and heavy bombers to 800, and allowed mutual inspections to verify compliance. The treaty was extended in 2021 for 5 years, a term that has now ended. As the US, Russia and China race to develop hypersonic missiles capable of extreme speeds and evasive maneuvers, the end of New START leaves the world's biggest nuclear powers without limits on their strategic arsenals, deepening global security concerns. Tutu Tripaঠি's report for DD India.
Russia and Ukraine have exchanged 157 prisoners. Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff said the outcome was achieved from peace talks that have been detailed and productive. Witkoff noted that discussions would continue with additional progress anticipated in the coming weeks. The freshly released US court documents linked to Jeffrey Epstein have sparked renewed political and royal controversy in the United Kingdom, triggering apologies from Prime Minister Keir Starmer, sharp opposition attacks and fresh scrutiny for high-level connections. Here's more in the report.
Britain is facing fresh political and royal turmoil after newly released US court documents linked to disgraced financier and convicted sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein reignited scrutiny of his connections in the UK. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, already under mounting political pressure, issued a public apology to Epstein's victims on Thursday. Starmer said that he was sorry for appointing Peter Mandelson as Britain's ambassador to Washington. The apology follows fresh allegations in newly released files pointing to Mandelson's close ties with Epstein.
I am sorry. Sorry for what was done to you. Sorry that so many people with power failed you. Sorry for having believed Mandelson's lies and appointed him. And sorry that even now you're forced to watch this story unfold in public once again. But I also want to say this. In this country, we will not look away.
However, opposition leader Kemi Badenoch accused the Prime Minister of a grave lapse in judgment, calling for a vote of no confidence.
I am making them an offer. If they want the change they know the country needs, come and speak to my whips, and let's talk seriously about a vote of no confidence to force the moment.
The fallout has also spread to the royal family. Britain's Prince Andrew has reportedly moved to a remote country estate after leaving his long-time residence. Andrew denies any wrongdoing, but is facing intensified pressure following the release of new US Justice Department documents. As political pressure mounts on 10 Downing Street and scrutiny intensifies around the royal family, the Epstein files once again are sending shockwaves through Britain's establishment, raising uncomfortable questions about judgment, accountability, and trust at the very top. Bureau Report, DD India.
Moving on, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk on Thursday began his visit to Ukraine, paid tributes to fallen Ukrainian soldiers alongside President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kiev. Ukraine's president said in a telegram post that together with Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk, he paid tributes to fallen defenders. He added, eternal memory to our bravest people who fought for Ukraine, defended its independence and gave their lives in the struggle. Tusk is visiting Kiev with Finance Minister Andrzej Domański, who is preparing an international conference on the reconstruction of Ukraine after the end of the war. France's foreign minister said on Thursday that sustaining the fight against Islamic State group is an absolute priority for Paris. The remarks come after French Minister meeting, Syrian counterpart in Damascus, Jean-Noel Barrot, said that Western powers must now work with Syria's government to contain the Islamic State, while Syria's de facto leader, Ahmed al-Shara, has been seeking to impose his authority over all the country, including Kurdish-controlled areas. French Foreign Minister also visited Iraq, where he emphasized Iraq's major role in the fight against the Islamic State group. He added that it is crucial that the country's handling of several thousand detainees transferred from northeastern Syria.
The fight against terrorism is the main purpose of my successive trips to Syria and Iraq. I came here because the safety of French women and men is also at stake.
8 trucks and ambulances moved towards the gate at Egypt's Rafah border, crossing with Gaza on Thursday following its reopening earlier this week. Reopening the crossing was one of the requirements under the October ceasefire that set out the first phase of US President Trump's plan to stop fighting between Israel and Islamist Hamas militants. In January, Trump declared the start of the second phase, where the sides would negotiate the shattered enclave's future governance and reconstruction. According to the 2026 annual report of a New York-based Human Rights Watch released on Wednesday, thousands of people have been arrested on political grounds under Bangladesh's interim government, with many held without trial and routinely denied bail. The report said hundreds of Awami League leaders, members and supporters remained in custody as murder suspects, including actors, lawyers, singers and political activists. The report also highlights a major crackdown following clashes between Awami League supporters and student protesters on February 8th under a campaign, Operation Devil Hunt, which led to at least 8,600 arrests. Kuala Lumpur is home to many places of worship that reflect Malaysia's rich cultural diversity. One such landmark is the Sri Veera Hanuman Temple, a revered Hindu temple that continues to draw Indian origin devotees and tourists as well. DD India correspondent gets us more.
Located in the heart of Kuala Lumpur, the Veera Hanuman Temple stands as a powerful symbol of faith, devotion and cultural heritage for the Hindu community in Malaysia. Dedicated to Lord Hanuman, the deity known for strength, loyalty and courage, the temple is especially significant to devotees of Indian origin. The temple's vibrant architecture, featuring traditional Hindu design elements and Southeast Asian elements, detailed sculptures, immediately capture the attention of visitors.
It's totally designed by India, but no, it's actually purely Malaysian, which is born in Brickfield, and this is the guy who did it. Because the passion that he has for Hanuman and all that. I love him, he's my role model, and he's a hero for me. And he's a father figure for me and all that. I like his braveness and all that. So from small, when I was 20 years old, I started to draw and imagine that I want to do something. I got the opportunity, I make use of it in a proper way and all that. That's what you're seeing today.
During festivals such as Hanuman Jayanti, the temple comes alive with devotional chants, rituals, and a large gathering of worshippers. Devotees from different backgrounds visit the temple, highlighting Malaysia's spirit of harmony and multicultural coexistence.
Every day without fail, after work, I will come and see Hanuman, pray to him. How much of sorrows and the heaviness I have inside also. Just that 5 minutes, I just come and talk to him, I feel very relieved. Yeah, so it's a calling from God, you see. After finishing, the bell is ringing. So it's a very, very powerful temple. Whoever is coming from India and all over the world, please come and meet Hanuman. Come and touch this temple, come and step in here. You will be blessed.
Beyond its religious significance, the Veera Hanuman Temple is also a point of interest for tourists exploring brickfields, often referred to as Kuala Lumpur's Little India.
In a modern and multicultural city like Kuala Lumpur, the Veera Hanuman Temple serves as a spiritual anchor. It transcends boundaries and connects people to their faith, to their strength, to their devotion. With camera person Jagmohan, this is Meghna Dey for DD India from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Still to come on DD India News Hour. European Central Bank holds key interest rate at 2% for 5th time in a row. Public exposition of sacred Devanamori relics of Lord Buddha attracts large crowds of devotees in Colombo, Sri Lanka.
food systems contribute to a third of global planet warming emission. In today's episode, let's take a look at what happens when food systems stop working for everyone.
After Hatibondo arrived, we discussed as a village the challenge that we were facing. And we came to the conclusion that we should sow some crops, especially for the elephants.
The Meramo Cafe is basically promoting the circular economy. So there's not much transportation involved in that process. So this is one way that we are reducing the carbon emission from that point of view.
Is probably laughing because despite the fact that they're cleaning up other people's problems for free, it seems like nobody here actually wants them to be doing it.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Sri Lankan President Anura Kumara Dissanayake inaugurated the public exposition in Colombo of the sacred Devanamori relics of Lord Buddha brought from Gujarat, India. The relics arrived at Bandaranaike International Airport in Colombo from Gujarat via Delhi and were later taken in a special motorcade to the Hopethya Gumaramaya temple following religious observations. The public will be able to venerate the sacred relics round the clock at the historic temple from Thursday until February 11th. The exposition coincides with Sri Lanka's 78th Independence Day, which was marked on Wednesday. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya thanked Government of India and Prime Minister Modi for facilitating the exposition, calling it a blessing for the people of Sri Lanka.
Witnessing these relics, that's a huge honor and a tremendous opportunity for our people. So I really appreciate this gesture by the Indian government, by Prime Minister Modi, for taking these relics out for the first time to Sri Lanka and giving this opportunity to us.
In some business news, European Central Bank ECB has kept key interest rate at 2% for the fifth time in a row. Despite January's inflation easing to about 1.7%, falling below the 2% target, the decision reflects a cautious approach to resilient economic growth.
The Governing Council today decided to keep the three key ECB interest rates unchanged. Our updated assessment reconfirms that inflation should stabilize at our 2% target in the medium term.
You're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for all the action from sports. India will strive for a record-extending sixth title when it locks horns against England in the Under-19 World Cup finals in Harare on Friday. Both teams enter the summit clash unbeaten in the tournament. India have clinched the trophy 5 times, finished runners-up in 2024 against Australia. 14-year-old Vaibhav Suryavanshi with 264 runs has been India's most consistent performer, while Anil Patel has been bowling ace with 11 wickets. Meanwhile, England chase their second title and their first since 1998. Ben Mayers with 399 runs and captain Thomas Rue with 299 runs have been at the forefront of England's campaign, while pacer Manny Lumsden is the top wicket taker in the tournament with 15 scouts. Indian shooter Suruchi Singh and world champion Samrat Rana had to settle for silver in the 10-meter air pistol mixed team event at the Asian Championship in New Delhi today. The Indian duo hit the ground running, posting 100.5 in the first series to lead the 4-team finals, but the Uzbek pair, Nigina Sadikulova and Muhammad Kamalov, surged ahead by the third series and held their advantage through the elimination stage to claim gold. Chinese Taipei finished third. In the women junior event, Rashmika Sehgal won gold while teammate Vanshika Chaudhary bagged silver in the 10-meter air pistol competition. Priyanshi Purva won gold while compatriot Chahak Kola clinched silver in the 10-meter pistol women youth event. 2 more gold medals for the host came in the team competitions. India finished the day with 10 gold, 5 silver and a bronze medal. Olympic gold medalist shooter Abhinav Bindra said he's truly humbled and honoured after carrying the Olympic torch ahead of the Winter Olympics in Italy. Bindra, a gold winner in the 10-meter air rifle event in the 2008 Beijing Olympics, was selected as one of the torch bearers in October last year. Bindra described it as a symbol of unity and perseverance. The Games, co-hosted by Cortina d'Ampezzo in the mountains, begins in Milan on Friday and will conclude on 22nd of February. This will be the fourth Winter Olympics to be hosted by Italy. The edition will feature 116 medal events across 16 disciplines, an increase of 7 events in one discipline from Beijing Games in 2022. All India Tennis Association said the country has been given the hosting rights of the World Cup of Women Tennis Billie Jean King Cup in April. The event will be held in Delhi from 7th to 11th April. The tournament will be conducted in a round-robin format, with the top 2 teams earning promotion to the playoffs. Along with host India, teams from Indonesia, South Korea, Mongolia, New Zealand and Thailand will compete for their 2 coveted promotion spots. Last year, Asia-Oceania Group 1 ties were held in Pune. India finished second and qualified for the playoffs for only the second time. Hockey India announced a 24-member men's team for the opening leg of the FIH Pro League to be held from 10th to 15th of this month in Rourkela. India will open their campaign against Belgium on 11th February, followed by a match against Argentina a day later. The Harmanpreet Singh-led side will then take on Belgium in the return fixture on 14th February before facing Argentina again on 15th. The team will then travel to Australia, where they will play Spain and Australia later this month. The European leg of the tournament will be held in June. Korean contemporary art is set to make a strong impression at India Art Fair 2026. The Korean Cultural Centre India will showcase a special K-Art Pavilion from February 5th to 8th at New Delhi's NSIC exhibition grounds, featuring 13 artworks by 4 leading Korean artists. The pavilion highlights the theme of Resonances of Light. The opening ceremony will be attended by Korean Ambassador Lee Seong-ho and the NGMA Director General Dr. Sanjeev Kishore Gautam, underscoring growing India-Korea cultural ties.
We are witnessing a growing ties in other areas, including cultural ties, cultural exchanges. I believe this is the very beginning. More and more Korean cultures including K-pop, K-drama, are being well received by young Indian audience. Likewise, Indian culture is becoming popular in Korea, such as yoga, Bollywood movies, and Indian cuisine.
Yoga is gaining a lot of popularity in Malaysia. Many Malaysians have included yoga in their daily life. DD India correspondent Meghna Dev reports on how yoga has gone mainstream in Malaysia and how many instructors credit Prime Minister Modi for taking yoga to the world.
Yoga studios are springing up across Malaysia's cities and suburbs. Many people are practicing yoga in search of balance, fitness and peace of mind. Not only this, many have started gaining interest in it after COVID.
Everybody has embraced yoga more in terms of enriching themselves in mental health, dealing with stress. For me personally, it has enriched my life.
Really connecting to inner states. And I think that is the biggest appeal, because the body is temporary, but you're going inwards and you're connecting to yourself and essence. And I think our yoga that we teach here does that. It helps people connect to their essence.
Instructors say interest in yoga has surged over the past decade, especially after yoga gained international visibility through global campaigns and events.
Many people from different culture coming, they want to be instructor, they want to learn the proper yoga, and all this because of the work by the Indian government and the Indian High Commission in Malaysia, really doing very well, connecting to the grassroots and doing so many programs, especially the International Yoga Day in Malaysia. Very big, very nice and wonderful.
Manoj, a young instructor in Kuala Lumpur, has been teaching yoga for the past 20 years. He attributes the importance now being given to instructors to PM Modi's endorsement of yoga. He says they had never been valued enough earlier.
Once Modi came, every Indian High Commissioner has become like a great supporter of yoga teachers. They know our name, we know their name, and they communicate with us. They really express the value they give to yoga teachers. And any high protocol event of Indian government happens, they make sure that the yoga teachers and the art teachers are given a special place, and they are made to feel that they are not just teaching something, they are representing India like cultural ambassadors. So they really created a beautiful ecosystem where yoga is seen not just as an exercise, but as really a spreading of a deep spiritual Indian tradition.
Large-scale celebrations and social media outreach have helped yoga reach millions worldwide. In Malaysia, the practice is finding new followers every day, driven by a growing focus on wellness and global awareness.
Yoga was once a lesser-known niche activity that was being carried out in Malaysia. But now so many Malaysians are rolling out their mats at schools, at community events and different places and such yoga studios, and embracing yoga not just for physical but also for mental well-being. What we see here is that people are embracing, reflecting this ancient practice as a wellness substitute, and also they carry out this activity to ensure that this is a part of their modern lifestyle. With camera person Vinay, this is Meghna Dey for DD India from Malaysia.
And that's all in this edition of DD India News Hour. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan this QR code on your screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.